Hello, everyone. A special welcome to all of our viewers and our listeners at USA Global TV and Radio. This is the Business Talk Show, and my co host and friend, Mr. Alcini, has the day off. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network, where we celebrate elevated listening. Joining me today is one of our team members. I love her dearly. We just did two other shows together. And I said, Janetta, can you co-host the show with me? And even though she's in Africa and it's much later, she's like, yes, I definitely can. Janetta is an integral part of this platform. Not only is she a co-host, but she is an expert presenter on Talking Heads. She's an elevated listener. She's a panelist on A Woman's Prerogative. She's involved in the new book that we just launched. Actually, today is our book launch. So my heart goes out to her. She's an entrepreneur, and she is the founder of the Epiphany Process and World Jenny's Day. Let's welcome her, and then we'll bring out our special guest. Hello again.
Hello, Dr. Jacqueline. I think we're joined at the hip today.
It really amazes me. Sometimes I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm here in Florida in the United States, and you're in Africa. And here we are 3 times today that we are meeting and doing shows. It's more than I actually see anyone in human contact. I have more contact with you than anyone in person. Is that amazing?
That is so true. And that's what I love. I mean, I have clients that I've had for many, many years. I've never met them, but you would never say I'd never met them because the technology is just amazing.
It truly is. And, I feel like by developing relationships with people virtually like this, it obviously is different than in person, but in person we have a lot of distractions. Here, we're spot on. We're live on television and radio, and it is what it is. And I feel like it's a great way to bring across education, hope, and inspiration. We've got a guest today who epitomizes all of those things. And before we bring out Sabine was a guest on our show, The Wise Ones. She was introduced to us by Red O'Laughlin. Janetta, I wanted to spotlight you. We always talk about the work that you do, helping other people. We haven't spoken so much about your work as an entrepreneur. You've been an entrepreneur for a long time. You've been online before people even knew what online was. So tell us a little bit about your backstory. I think that's really important. And then if you can segue into being an entrepreneur and what that means to you, and then we'll bring out Sabine.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. I started out as a sales motivator, trainer, and speaker, and I was pretty good at it. I was in corporate. I was in a very big corporate company, and went far up the ladder. But I noticed when I was motivating those people that they would go away very revved up, and often would perform, and the sales would come in. But I was always aware that it wasn't about the sales. It was about growing the person. And they'd come back in next to no time saying, we need another dose of you, Janetta. And I realized I'd become their drug, and that they were artificially taking my energy out of me, using it. And because they didn't know how to do it for themselves, they were coming back for more. And I felt really out of integrity. And that's when I made the decision to become an entrepreneur. And I started off first on more of the esoteric side, where I went into expanding my intuitive abilities and teaching others to do the same. But I noticed that with time, the people were coming back and saying, but your intuition is more strong than ours. So you tell us what you're getting. And I felt out of kilter with it. And it was at that time that I was questioning this, that my greatest life test happened, in that my 16-year-old, very troubled 16-year-old daughter, Jenny, and I had an enormous argument. It escalated out of all reason. And she took herself off in an absolute rage to pack and leave home. And I went to find her, and I found that she'd taken her life in her shower. And the journey to get back from there was enormous. But I realize now in hindsight that it stepped me into the true light of what life is about, to the point where I'm more inspired than anything else through my greatest life test. And that's where the epiphany process was born, because I had to find accurate ways to get through this incredible loss. So stepping into as an entrepreneur happened many years ago, and I always preferred it, but it is a lonely journey. And that's why USA Global TV is such a wonderful, by way of example, is such a wonderful way to interact and share and grow and open hearts. And it makes it less of a lonely journey as well. And it takes a lot of stickability, and a lot of the times things don't work. um, and you try and you invest money in this and that doesn't work, and then you hit bingo, and things start flowing again, and then you get the ebbs and flows, and not anybody to soundboard behind, or to advise you, or it can be quite daunting. But I wouldn't change it for all the tea in China, because it's been such a rewarding journey at the same time, beyond rewarding.
Thank you, Janetta. Thank you for sharing that story with us. I really appreciate it. And again, thank you for being here today. I feel that there is a major connection with you and Sabine and me, and I'm just really thrilled. So, Sabine is a special person because she doesn't give up. So many times something happens and we're just like, oh, why me? Why did this happen to me? Now I can't do this. And she's had a lot of things thrown at her that none of us could ever imagine. We are going to hear her story, and then we're going to share a video. She's an award-winning inspirational speaker. Let us welcome Sabine Becker. Hello.
Hello,
Hey,
everybody. Hello,
Sabine.
Jacqueline. Hello, Janetta. It is so good to be here again and to meet the absolutely lovely Janetta. We had a huge connection offline here. That's really amazing. So thank you for having me here. And yeah, my story is it just sometimes I'm thinking, is this really real? Because as maybe you can see, I was born with very small arms. And the reason for this was because my mom took the now infamous drug thalidomide. And maybe some of you still remember the drug thalidomide. It was given by doctors very freely to women who were pregnant. And it was supposed to help with several things: insomnia, anxiety, but especially morning sickness. And that's why so many women in Germany, where I am originally from, I live in America now, but I'm from Germany. This is why so many women in Germany took this drug, because they were promised by pharmacists and by doctors, this is safe. They even had a slogan in Germany: thalidomide, as safe as a sugar pill. And women trusted that. And the result was truly a tragedy for us thalidomiders and for our families. About 20,000 babies were born with never before seen deformities. I was born, as I said earlier, with very small arms. Thankfully, I have no health. I, oh my gosh, now I get twisted up. I'm doing good otherwise, but I was born with very small arms. And thankfully, I had very parents who really could see beyond my disability, because they didn't have any pity with me. They said, Sabine, this is what happened, and that's very unfortunate and it's tragic. But you are not going to give up. And I was not allowed to say the word, I can't. That was in my household. That was not something you ever said. I would get in so much trouble, especially with my mother, who was a very, very, very strong and resilient woman. She said, I do not want to hear the word I can't. So I grew up this way, and my mother, again, very, very forward looking, said that she will not give up because she wants me to learn to use my feet for all daily tasks. And today, that would be quite a feat, but it was, I was born in 1962, so this was 1963 or 64, where she said, I want my daughter to use her feet for everything she's going to do in her life. But to find a physical or occupational therapist, that was very difficult because at that time in Germany, they had a completely different mindset. When you were disabled, you were regarded less than. People didn't even expect anything from you. Oh, wow, this poor little thing. I mean, pity. That was how people looked at people with disabilities or children with disabilities, but not my parents, because my parents said you can do whatever you put your mind to. And that's when I learned early on that the push mindset. It's an acronym. I came up later in my life, but it's still stay. But I already had that mindset at the time. Push stand for persevere until success happens. And therefore, I think I started using my feet at age of 2. My parents found a very good physical therapist who was working on me on something which really hasn't been done that often. And instead of playing with my little friends outside, I, I went to physical therapy, and I wasn't happy about it because I didn't understand it. But this really was so phenomenal because today, as a result of my mother pushing me into physical therapy, because of that, I'm totally independent today. What you do, let's say, getting dressed, brushing your hair, even driving a non-modified car, writing here in my notebook, or typing on the computer. If you think about it, that I do all these things with my feet. I lead a completely independent life because my mother pushed. She persevered until I knew how to use my feet for all daily tasks.
Sabine, it's an incredible story. We actually have a video that we're going to take a look at. So your feet and your legs are doing twice the amount of work that so
Yes.
we have our arms and our legs, and yours are doing twice the amount of work, and it's amazing. You're always smiling, you're always so positive. So your parents obviously had a big, especially your mom, a big influence on
Yes.
how you are today and how you look at things today.
Yes.
What would you say to someone out there, a parent who has a child going through some type of issue, and instead of locking them away somewhere, right, finding some place to put them to encourage them to find other ways to be creative?
But, and I used to work with parents who had a disabled child. And of course, as a mother and a father, your first instinct is to protect this child. Oh my gosh, this child is going to have a very difficult life. I need to do whatever I can to protect my child. But that's maybe not quite the way to go. I was encouraged to go out there, to do my little mishaps, my little mistakes. I had roller skates, and can you imagine roller skates when you have tiny little arms? But my parents again pushed me out there to be on roller skates, to learn how to ski. I even had a little modified bicycle. They pushed me, and therefore I really had no fear. I'm basically fearless. because that's what I learned. That's my mindset. My mindset was I can do everything. Therefore, I really encourage the parents who might have a disabled child, don't overprotect them. Let them fall, let them do their mistakes. And I think this is the best you can do because unfortunately, I have met some thalidomide survivors and their parents have not been like mine. They were they were not really pushed out there into the world, and it life was much harder because they didn't learn this independence, this mindset. I can, yes, I can, and that's what I worked with parents who have disabled children. And it's hard because, like I said, when I started, we want to protect our children. I have one son, I have three grandchildren. I want to protect them. But I know it's really important that they make their own mistakes in life.
Janetta, you're on mute.
what I what I hear here is a really interesting scenario. When you went to school with children who had normal length arms, with your "I can" attitude, did that have an influence on how they reacted to you?
Yes, oh my gosh, I love that question because what I usually hear in my life, oh, children are so cruel, which that might be true. But with my I can attitude, and I had always this attitude, don't mess with me. This kind of like, huh? You know, I mean, I was such a tough little kid, but nobody ever laughed about me because I did not think of myself as a child with a disability. I didn't see it. In my mind, I was as capable as all the other children. And I think that came across because nobody ever thought of me being different. And sometimes kids, and to this day, people want to hand me something until, I mean, they see definitely I have little arms. And then they say, oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah. Because I don't think of myself as disabled at all. I'm differently abled, no doubt. I mean, one look at me and my little arms, and then I do everything with my feet. But it's again, it comes down like so many things in life to the mindset. So school was really mostly a great experience for me. I loved mostly I loved to learn, and that was my parents encouraged me, and they said that's a ticket for you. You got to have an education, and that is true because I cannot. I wanted to become a flight attendant till the age of 13. I actually believed I can be a flight attendant, but then I kind of realized, well, maybe a flight attendant really has to have arms. But that comes to show you my mindset was so much on what I can do in my life. It was not, oh, I cannot do this and this won't happen over here. And for me, it was just, what can I do? I developed really early on a passion. It's almost a passion for the possible.
I love your whole demeanor, your whole attitude. Because let's talk about business, for example. How many times have people been told that they can't do something? You'll never be any good at that. You can't achieve that. How could you think about leaving your salary and your benefits to go out on your own? And yet, some people will fall prey to that and they'll say, yeah,
Mhm,
I guess you're right. I'm no good.
mhm,
But
mhm.
yet, your attitude from the very beginning, which I think is so important for all the parents out there or
Yes,
caretakers, or is to inspire instead of hold back or put down or put limits.
yes, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more with you. One thing I have learned, thankfully, very early on in my life is number one, you are the most influential voice in your life. So what that means, to me at least, watch that inner voice, watch that self-talk. I think we all have done it. Oh, my business, it probably won't happen. But when I talk that way to myself, I jump right up. What did I just say? And I rephrase that. Well, it is difficult. It is now difficult, but that doesn't always mean that it will be difficult, because we become what we believe. If we believe we will not be able to do something, it becomes unfortunately our reality. And when I have that inner voice which whispers to me, Sabine, who do you think you are? This will not work. Then I say to myself again, you know what? I will cross examine you. I feel like a prosecutor. Is that really true? What in my life have I done that doesn't work out? Things sometimes don't work out the way I think they should, but they always work out if you use persistence, perseverance, and you just plain do the work. So lesson, most influential voice, you are your most influential voice. Watch that voice. And also something I've learned, I will not surround myself with naysayers, because little story here, in 2018 I have started training for the Los Angeles Marathon. Just in case people don't know, some people don't know that marathon is 26.2 miles long. That's a long ways. One of my best friends, and she has known me for many years, she said, well, Sabine, are you sure? I mean, this is really tough. Have you seen the people who do it over come across the finish line of half a marathon? And you want to do a whole marathon? Oh, Sabine, and I will not listen to this talk, because 26.2 miles, and we can put that, our business goals, our goals in life in general, we have sometimes really big goals. What I learned to do, the marathon again, as an example, start training for 1 mile, and then train for another mile. So you have two, and it's step by step by step. But do not surround yourself with naysayers. I totally stay away from them. And again, that actually was a lesson that came from my mother. At the time, I didn't understand that. But today, I definitely understand that. You got to believe in yourself, and whoever doesn't believe in you, well, maybe you would send them a Christmas card or something, but you stay away from them. I don't know. Maybe
I
they get their
love that.
Christmas.
I love that too.
I have to say, I think you're the most one of the most fortunate women in the world, because, or people or persons in the world, because you've been fortunate to be in a situation where you've learned to use your arms and your legs where
Yes.
we don't. And
Yes.
you've got skills I would love to find out how to do. It'd be amazing. So, just to be able to go, that you can do that where most others can't. It's like, wow. Well
It's
done.
Well, thank you
super
so
well
much.
done. We actually
Thank
have
you.
a clip that we're going to
Yeah.
watch. This is a video that's from your YouTube channel, so people
Hmm.
can go over and just
Yes.
put in your name, and then they can subscribe. So let me find, let me go over to share screen, and let's take a look. Okay. Sabine, anything you want to say before I start sharing? Oh, we are sharing, sorry.
Yeah, well, there we are. It's very exciting short video of me driving my car. And knock on wood, everybody knock on wood now. I have never had in over 40 years of driving an accident. So let's knock on wood on that.
Okay.
So I'm a
All
super
right.
safe driver.
Let me go full screen and let's take a look.
Let's go.
This was a gravel road.
Safe driver, looking both ways. Get that?
Yep, you bet. I live on that road and it's all gravel.
Looks like a pretty
And
area.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's in Southern California. I really rarely watch this video. Thank you for that treat, Jacqueline. And the reason why I have that pillow there by my knee, so because when I drive longer distances, it can be rough on the knee, always being scraping against that hard plastic of the door.
Absolutely.
And what I love about this car, I don't see it now, it has electronic shifting. It's one of the newer cars. And all you do is push a button now instead of the gear shift. All
Oh,
you do
yeah.
is pushing a
Wow.
button. So that is really, I mean, technology and accessibility is just phenomenal these days. Yeah, and keep in mind, this is all gravel and way out in the country. That's where I live.
And now you have a watch on. You put that on as well.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
Apple Watch.
that's. I have a problem putting my Apple Watch on with my hand, so it's
Right?
amazing. It's
You know,
amazing.
they sell them with elastic bands. You just can put it. I mean, they sell it just regular on Amazon, and that's how I put it on my left foot.
It's
Goodness,
amazing.
yeah.
Gosh, my
Yep, that's
word.
the end of a road. Yeah, we kind of live at the end of a road. There you go. Oh my God.
Sabine, I mean, that is amazing. There's points where I had to look twice and remind myself that that was a foot and not a hand.
Yeah.
But to ask you, I remember when I was a child growing up in Nairobi, there was a very famous painter here in fact, I think he was also German. And he had been paralyzed,
Mhm.
and but he could use his mouth. And
Yeah.
another one, he had a friend who could use their feet for
Yeah.
painting and drawing. And I remember as a 4 or 5 year old being absolutely incredibly impressed with these two people, going, how amazing is that?
Yeah.
have you
Yeah. Yeah.
have you got an artistic side in you? Do you write and draw and do all that with your feet? Yes.
You know, I love your question because, yes, when I graduated from high school, I told my parents, I'm going to live in Paris. Remember, I lived in north of Frankfurt in the general area, north of Frankfurt. I told them that I'm going to move to Paris and I will become an artist because I was pretty good on drawing with my left foot. I had these little high school exhibitions. So I thought I really had the stuff to become an artist. The problem with that was my parents said, well, you can go to Paris, but we are not going to support you becoming an artist. You are getting a real profession. It's like, okay. Which in the end probably was good because I studied as well, first social work and then psychology. So I think it was a good choice. But I love art. I love writing. I still love designing to this day, all with my left foot.
My word.
So, Sabine, when we think about business, right? Because
Yeah,
we're on the business show
right.
and people have challenges. They have to make
Hmm.
big decisions. They have to weigh if I do this, if I do that. With this process that you have with push, persevere until success
Yes.
happens, how do you work with clients? And I know you also are a renowned speaker. So
Yes.
what are some things that you can share with people out there who have challenges in business? Let's say they could even be business owners and they're trying to say, should we stay in business or should we go in business? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I always encourage people to follow the heart. What is it you really want? Because life is short. And therefore, we have a limited time on this earth. We don't know what it is going to be, but life is short, and that's a fact. I'm turning 61 in a few days. So I encourage people to follow your heart. Now, will it be easy? I could retire right now, but I am pursuing my love for public speaking and my love to coach others because I have this coaching program. It's a push survival guide. And sometimes I'm wondering, why am I even doing that? Because I love giving back. I'm so passionate about it. I encourage people to find their passion and to give it the hardest try absolutely possible. And also something I learned the hard way. We need all to make mistakes, and we need to realize those mistakes are not failures. They are learning opportunities. And also, life is not comparing yourself against others. I'm very guilty of this one, but life is not comparing yourself against others, but life is comparing yourself to who you were yesterday. And what else can I give as far as business is concerned? I'm a transformational coach, so the business aspect is a little bit tough for me. Believe believe in a positive outcome and work really hard, set a lot of hours aside, and don't think it's going to happen. You really have to be out there. I'm on so many talk shows, podcasts, network meetings. Put yourself out there, even if you don't feel like it. I don't feel always to dress up, to go to a meeting or network meeting online or real meetings in person, but go, because that's how you continue pushing yourself, and you have to persevere until that success happens, whatever success means to you. And also, something I had to think about myself lately: what is your motivation? Find your why. Why are you in business? Is it just because your parents told you? That's usually not working out so good. But find your passion. What makes you tick? Why do you want to contribute to the world? Find your motivation, the purpose. And then you got to have your energy. I tell you, you got to have energy when you have your own business. And everybody who's listening to me and who has their own business, they know you got to have the energy. I find my energy by working out and eating well, and again having a positive mindset, and then go step by step by step. Don't look at the 26.2 finish line, look at the step right in front of you. And that's the advice I can give business owners.
Excellent advice. Thank you. Janetta,
What
any
I, yeah, what I love hearing there is that you're saying that even you, with all your I can do, you're not naturally like that. It's something you've had to work on, and that it's easy for you to also say, no, this is too much.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and I think that's the big thing, is that people think that those who are doing it are different, and that's why they're doing it, but they're not. And I can hear that's where you're sitting
yeah.
too, and it's so lovely when people are so transparent. That's a huge success.
Thank you so much. And this is so true. Yes, I have successes and I celebrate them, but it has not always been easy. And it's not even easy now, but you continue, you have your focus. I'm very, very, very focused person. I have a goal, I focus on the goal, take small steps. But no, it doesn't mean it's easy. It just, you have to stay focused on your purpose, finding energy, and the tiny steps. Like, say, Tony Robbins or Oprah Winfrey, I'm sure they have just not always good days. So nobody has every day a good day. So focus on your goals. That's what I have to say.
I love that. And I think something else I'd like to add is that if you want to find an excuse, there's
Ah,
always one. If you want to find a
True.
reason for it not to work, you're going to find it, right?
absolutely,
High
absolutely.
five.
Yeah, high five on that one. Totally.
So Sabine, you're available for public
Yes,
speaking. You're
yes.
still working since you're not retired. Will you travel certain places? Are you there in California? How do you feel about is it large corporations? What are you
Mhm.
looking for perfect clients?
Yes, absolute. The perfect client is really the large corporation. I love speaking. I love the stage. I've been all my life actually on stage. That's a long story, another story. But I love to contribute to the audiences. I travel. If anybody is interested, go on my website. I think it's displayed, SabineBeckerSpeaks.com, and do two things. Download the free, and it's free, push survival guide, because that will unlock those 6 survival skills which have helped me find success and which helps you find success. It has helped thousands of people over the last 20 years, by the way, to find success. It's just 6 push survival skills. You can download them for free, and then you also can have a discovery call for me so we can chat how I can help you. And I travel. I'm world traveler. Literally, I go twice a year to Europe all by myself, and I travel within the United States too.
I just love the fact that it's that can do attitude, and it's not can do like small things. Can do a marathon. You know how hard it is to do a marathon? I
Woo.
did a 10K and I thought that was a lot. So
Yeah.
it's incredible. So as
It
we come
is.
to the end of the show, I just want to thank you so much. When I asked you to come to the business show, I know you had a little bit of concern. You're like, well, I speak. And I'm like, you're a perfect fit because people are up against obstacles every
Yes.
single day in running a business. And it comes down to what you have inside, what you believe in about yourself. And I feel that you were so blessed because of the attitude in your home that
Yes.
I love the idea of just pushing you out there on the
Woo.
rollerblades. It's like, that's, you're not going to be afraid then because you don't even have
No.
time.
No.
Yeah.
No, and thank you so much for having me here. Yes, I when we met about this show, I thought, well, business, I'm a motivator. I'm the queen of perseverance, but I'm not a business person. Till I understood, oh, wait a minute, all these concepts I'm teaching every single day for the last 20 years, they apply for business owners too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to turn it over to each of you to give your final words. Anything you want to share with the audience? I love to look at the fact that we're coming to the end of a year and people are going to be making all kinds of lofty commitments to goals that they may or may not. So
Yeah.
when you think about making a change, whether it's in your business or in your personal life, and I'm really putting this out there as a hypothetical for you to speak to our audience. So, for audience members looking to make that big change in January, I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to
Yay.
stop doing this. What guidance or direction can you give so that people are not disappointed, but yet they're not staying in the same place? I'm going to start with you, Sabine.
I think you need to set attainable goals. You need to look at your motivation. Why do I want to go to the gym? Because my husband says so, or my clothes don't fit. Why do I want to do this? That's when you find your purpose, your motivation, that will keep you engaged throughout the whole year. It's something you have to find within yourself. What Oh God, I'd get tangled up again. um, that's to me the biggest thing. What is your motivation? If you know your motivation, I think you will stay focused for the whole year.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's go over to Janetta. Janetta, what would you share with our audience?
Well, Sabine practically took the words out my mouth, because what I would say is very similar to you, and that is when you're looking at goals that are driven by stick motivation. I'm too fat, I'm too lazy, I'm too this, I'm too that. The chances are you're not going to make your New Year's resolutions, because it's all about bringing yourself down. And I always say we've got a child inside us that we left at puberty. And we have an employer inside us. We employ ourselves, even if we're working for somebody else, we employ ourselves. And we all know if you start telling that employee or that child that you're too fat, you're too this, and you need to go and do, I mean, there's zilch motivation, and yet we do it to ourselves. So those new ways of moving forward, if they come from a place of inspiration from the heart, the way as you were saying, Sabine, what is it you're doing? Why are you doing it? What will it bring you that will give you such a sense of upliftment? Why are you doing it? I'm doing it because I want to expand an experience. If it's that sort of wording, rather than I want to do it because everybody thinks I'm overweight and I'm overweight, and I want to study because I'm thick, and those sort of words, you're not likely to succeed, because the demotivation inside you shuts you down before you even begin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well said, Janetta. Way to wrap it
Yes.
up. Thank you.
Yes.
Sabine, once again, it's a pleasure. You're welcome to come on any of our shows. We love having you. And
Would
people,
love to.
please reach out to Sabine. Her website information is here. Please go over to her YouTube channel and subscribe. Anywhere else on social media you would like people to go?
Yeah, oh my goodness, I talk too much. Facebook, Sabine Becker, it should be easy, and you can even look me up on the web. It's easy to find me. Yeah, I'm all over the place there. And just find me so we can discuss how I can help you to persevere until success happens for you.
Well, thank you for bringing inspiration, your positive energy. I feel it flowing here through the computer. And I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. We look forward to seeing
Thank
you
you.
again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Bye for now.
lots of love.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Emma.
And Janetta, I know you're going to connect with Sabine. I can feel that connection. And who knows, you can come up with your own collaboration.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I was thinking, apart from Epiphany side, I think we have something special we might be able to co-create for World Jenny's Day as well. That's so uniquely
Fantastic.
different.
You know how much I love collaborations. I love it. So.
Oh, I know. It's just, and you're the queen of them. So
I feel like a mother when I hear that, one of our team members connected with a guest or another team. I'm like, oh, it's so special. It's like they're going to school for the first day. So, Janetta, I thank you so much for coming on today for the third show. And I know it's getting very late over there. So I'm going to spotlight you and just have you share how people can reach out to you and what are the services that you can provide.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. Service-wise, if you've got a situation, whether it be at home with family or with friends, or maybe it's at work with colleagues or bosses or clients, where you're finding yourself severely challenged in trying to resolve whatever it is, I always call it that dance of that challenging dance, where they're dancing with you and you're dancing back and nobody's getting anywhere fast. If you would like to learn the skills to communicate clearly and accurately, not from a place of fear and not from a place of extreme judgment, where you can peel away your overanalyzation and you can peel away your over emotion, being overly emotional about it. And those go away and you become very clear and centered and specific. Then you can actually access your inner wisdom. If you'd like to have a piece of that, because it's something that I learned after losing Jenny to suicide after that enormous argument, if you'd like a piece of that to find out how to clearly and open-heartedly, that doesn't mean you're always sweet, and it's being able to say things as they need to be said, but not to destroy and not out of fear. If you'd like to know how to do that, then you can contact me at theepiphanyprocess.com. My email is Janetta, JENETTA, at theepiphanyprocess.com. And then on the other side, there's the nonprofit arm of the Epiphany Process called World Jenny's Day. World Jenny's Day was birthed because Jenny died on the 10th of October, which happens to be World Mental Health Day. And we now have an international day, which was very successfully platformed here on USA Global TV, over 16 hours, so that we could have people from all over the world virtually live with us. And it was an outstanding success as we used performing arts and the arts to soften and normalize conversations around depression and suicide, and to use creative skills to start new conversations. And we celebrated that day with mental health wellness. That was the celebration of the day. And if you'd like to know more about World Jenny's Day, that's worldjennysday.com. And if you'd like to volunteer and step forward and be part of this amazing, amazing day, please do contact me. And Dr. Jacqueline, it's been such an honor and pleasure to be able to step in. I love impromptu, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't have met Sabine. So this is what it's about.
I totally agree. I love when people come together and there's just this love and connection. It's fabulous. So thank you again. And I hope you have a beautiful night's sleep.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you and chatting with you soon. Actually, tomorrow.
Lots of love. Okay.
Lots of love to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. And thanks to each and every one of you. I do have a couple of announcements before we go on to our next show. Our next show is the men's show, Bonfire Talks, real, authentic, uncut, led by Roland Friedel, who is in his motorhome driving through Europe, and he's assembled a fabulous panel of people. So if you haven't heard, we meaning Mariska Duprier, myself, and our team here of Elevated Listeners, we had our book party launched today, our Amazon #1 new release, children's book, which is The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. This book is one of 7, the first of 7, to teach children and their family how to listen at an elevated level. Each of the animal characters on the book cover actually represents a real human being. For example, the ladybug represents me, and it's in dedication to my great niece, Lady Ella. So I'd love for you to pick up a copy of this book. This book is the type of thing that is good for parents. It's good for family members, caregivers, and especially children. Imagine what life would be like if we learned how to listen at an elevated level when we were children. Instead of waiting until we're in our 30s, 40s, and 50s, our life is filled with strife and anger and discourse, and we get into these ineffective patterns of behavior with our partner, with our children, with our colleagues. Let's learn how to listen as children. You can pick this book up on Amazon. The ebook is $1.99. It's also available in paperback. Just put in my name, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck or Jacqueline Kerbeck, and you'll find it there. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the support as we are on our launch day today. All right. Thank you so much. We're signing off. We'll be literally coming back in less than 10 minutes. Bye for now.